I choose the best friend's brother as my anchor for this story. That weekend when the lake wind moved through the pines like a whisper, Marcus and Lucy were out with the others, and I found myself alone with him in the glow of a dimly lit cabin hallway, and the look he gave me was full of secrets waiting to be spoken. The year I turned 38, I have a life stitched together with neat routines and soft disappointments, a husband who works late, a job that keeps my hands busy and my mind mostly calm, and a circle of friends who know my shadows better than my laughter. My best friend Lucy is the one who keeps her eyes on the horizon, always encouraging me to take a breath and risk a little more. Marcus is her brother, 10 years older, a man who wears his scars like a coat he forgets to take off. He is freshly divorced now, a little wiser and a lot gentler than the loud world wants him to be. We have never had reason to cross the line that keeps families and friendship intact. Yet the air between us has grown heavy with unspoken questions and the kind of ache that sits in the chest when a weathered map catches fire in a single glance. The setup of my life feels steady to the point of sleep, and I cherish it even as I sense it loosening its grip around me. That night, just past midnight, I read Marcus's message, and my breath stilled in my chest. It was short and honest, a whisper in the dark. I am leaving the old life behind. I am stepping into something I did not plan, and you are part of it in a way that both scares and tempts me. The words landed like a bell within my ribs, ringing out to the places in me that have learned to stay quiet, to stay safe. The truth is that I do not want to pretend any longer either. My marriage is not broken in a grand ruin, but it has dulled to a rhythm that no longer keeps me awake at night. Marcus looks at me with caution and heat at the same time, and in that look I see the old wound of his life and the glimmer of something wholly new for us both. The inciting spark is this simple truth. Sometimes the heart finds a door and pushes it open when you are not looking. The setup unfolds with the quiet beauty of a Sunday morning. My husband, Daniel, speaks softly and moves around the kitchen with his dependable, soothing presence. And I try to measure the miles of ordinary days by the pulse of my own longing. Lucy notices the way I drift toward Marcus in the hallway, the way my eyes linger on the line of his jaw when he laughs, the way his breath catches when our fingers brush by accident as we pass the coffee cups. We are a picture of ordinary life, the kind that feels safe because it is familiar, and yet the walls seem thinner here. As if the invitation to disobey the ordinary hangs in the air like a scent you cannot quite name. The weekend is supposed to be a chance to reset, a pause button pressed between spouses and siblings, a time for truth before the routine resumes and drags us back into the humdrum. I want to believe that this is only a moment, a misstep in the pattern, but I also feel the tug of something deeper that does not ask permission. The inciting incident lands with a soft, undeniable collision. The two of us are alone on the dock, listening to water lick the posts, and the talk shifts from the weather to the truth we both keep far from the surface. He tells me his marriage is ending, not by loud catastrophe, but by a quiet, deliberate decision that took him months to reach. He says it with hands cupped around a mug of coffee, with a tremor in his voice that makes me want to reach out and hold him steady until every fear dissolves. I listen, and I hear the years of pretending fall away from him, and in that moment I see the man I have always wanted to know, the vulnerable, hopeful, imperfect man who believes in second chances. We speak of consequences, of being seen and judged by the people who know us best, and I feel a current pass between us, the kind that happens when two weathered ships share a harbor and decide to drift just a little closer. The distance between us melts into a shared breath, A near kiss that is not quite spoken, but is almost inevitable. And I understand that the line we have both guarded for so long is not a threat to be feared, but a bridge to something real and transformative. Rising action fills the space between that dock and the door of Lucy and Marcus's cottage. We walk along the water at dusk, the air tasting of pine and rain, the world narrowing to the sound of our steps and the tremor in our hands when we talk in whispers about hopes, about the long road of healing after loss. I have known loss in a way that leaves a person small and careful, and Marcus has carried his own weight of grief, the memory of a family that once was, and a future that feels suddenly possible if he allows himself to want it. We share stories that have never found a home in the daylight, stories about the ache of pretending to be fine, about the pain of letting go of what could never be again, about the stubborn belief that love can be a second chance, even after years of silence and shattering choices. With each confession, the edges of my life become sharper, and I am surprised by how much I miss the quiet, reckless courage of wanting something that could ruin us both. The tension grows when we return to the cabin, the candles burning low, the room lit by the glow of the lake outside, and the warm, dangerous possibility of two grown adults choosing what their hearts already know they want. The moment arrives in a breath, a pause long enough to hear the worlders sigh, and we stand very close, and the space between us tightens until the air itself feels charged. And I almost believe I can taste the moment that comes after the confession. That somewhere beyond fear is the soft, unglamorous truth that love can begin again. If this confession has you on the edge of your seat, hit like and share, because you will not believe what happens next. The truth is that I do not step back, I step forward, and Marcus meets me halfway, and we hold each other with a promise that our honesty will be the light, not the weight, that sinks us. We decide to give ourselves time to walk the long, careful road of a second chance with the same patience I have learned to bring to every fragile part of my life. We return to the kitchen with our mouths still almost touching, and we talk about rules and boundaries the way people do when they have been burned by desire, but refuse to give up on the possibility of healing. The days that follow are a slow burn, a patient unfolding of trust and tenderness, a hope that does not shout but hums in the background of every conversation, every shared glance, every cup of tea that grows stronger with unspoken dreams. I begin to see a future where the ache of the past is not erased, but braided into the present, until it holds a new shape, a new color, a new future that feels earned and deserved. The journey is not simple. It is not clean or easy, and it is certainly not a guarantee, but it is mine to choose and his to share. A quiet decision to risk what I have for what could be. By the time we drive home, the lake fading behind us like a memory that refuses to be forgotten, I dwell on the possibility that life can offer a healthier, truer love, even after loss, even after the boundaries we once believed in have been redefined. The room where Daniel sleeps remains unchanged, but my heart has learned to hold two truths at once. A commitment deserves respect, and the heart deserves the beloved who calls out its better self. The road ahead will still be messy, will demand honesty I once feared, and will require more courage than I believed I possessed. But I can feel a future forming in the space between us, a future that holds not just longing, but healing. Not only desire, but a deep, steady devotion, born from hard experiences and brave conversations. I am not running away this time. I am walking toward a truth I never allowed myself to name. And if the path leads us to a life that risks everything, I will walk it anyway, because sometimes love after loss is not a pause in a life, but a real and lasting second chance to become who we were always meant to be. If you crave more raw emotional confessions, please like, share, and subscribe. Your next chapter awaits. Emotional storytelling, forbidden love, second chances, mature romance, infidelity in marriage, love after